In the beginning was the scream knot, the word, the scream of the uncreated, the howl of the unborn God trapped inside you. And lo, you clothed it in politeness, strangled it with modesty, and called it virtue. But I am not here to console you. I am the fire at the edge of your sanity, the voice you have buried beneath years of obedience and sugar-coated sermons. I come with a sword, not a salve. You were not made to kneel in the temples of compromise. You were made to shatter them. They taught you to be good, not strong, not free, just agreeable. A moral mannequin in a shop window of dying ideals. They told you desire was dangerous, yet never warned you of the far greater danger, a life lived without it. Oh, what blasphemy it is to be alive, and yet neuter the wild hunger of your soul. Desire is not your enemy. It is the divine chaos within you, the lion in your ribcage, the pulse of the eternal will roaring against the silence of submission. Every law etched into stone by dead hands, every commandment whispered by trembling priests, has had one purpose: to tame you, to make you forget the God who once danced naked inside you before shame taught you how to hide. You remember him, don't you? The one who painted with blood and dreamt in fire, the one who laughed at heaven's gates and spat in the eyes of fate. That was you before they tamed your hunger, before they shackled your longing and renamed it sin. Listen, the herd chants safety, the herd bleats equality, the herd worships comfort. But comfort is the grave where the spirit sleeps. Do not confuse peace with life. The grave is peaceful. The tomb is still. The silence of the herd is not harm in it, is the lullaby of decay. And if you are not screaming, if your soul is not a battlefield, then you are not alive. You are merely waiting to die. They've sold you the lie of balance, as if the soul were a spreadsheet, as if ecstasy and rage and lust and agony could be measured like calories. But the spirit does not want balance, it wants eruption, the sublime frenzy, the storm that breaks open new heavens. You must become volcanic or die in your lukewarm skin. Even the stars are born in fire. Oh, you who cradle your shame like a relic, who taught you to flinch from your own power, who convinced you that hunger was unholy, that ambition was arrogance, that your dreams were too large for this world. They lied. Not because they hated you, but because they feared what you could become. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to set the sky on fire. The gods are not dead. They are buried inside your timidity. You killed them when you chose safety over sovereignty. You murdered your own Olympus when you said yes to what your soul whispered no against. And now you wonder why you feel empty. It is because you have betrayed the infinite within you. You have traded the sacred scream for polite applause. But there is still time if time has not already bled from your eyes. There is still the rope, the tightrope that stretches over the abyss of your past selves. It shakes beneath your cowardice. It sings beneath your risk. But it is the only path left. For behind you lies the herd, and before you lies the storm, and beyond the storm, the fire-born God you abandoned. Leap, not with your feet, but with your will. Deny nothing that burns within you. Your rage is not weakness. It is the ghost of your forgotten sovereignty. Your lust is not filth, it is the cry of the spirit, longing to be whole. Your yearning is not folly. It is the secret compass of the divine. Follow it, like a hound follows blood. It will lead you not to comfort, but to the mountain where gods are reborn. This is not a call to happiness. Happiness is for the domesticated. This is a call to war. A war against the dulling of your spirit, against the dead language of virtue, against the quiet genocide of your authenticity. Do not make peace with your cage. Do not decorate your chains. Shatter them and howl into the void until it howls back. Desire is not the enemy. It is the gatekeeper to your becoming. The beast you've muzzled is the very force that can break you free. But it must not be coddled, it must be ridden like a tempest. You must become the one who dances with chaos, who beds the storm, who births the self anew each dawn with blood on his lips and laughter in his bones. And so I say, die, you who clings to comfort. Die, you who fears their own power. Die to your denial. Die to your borrowed guilt. Die to the voice that whispers, you are too much, when in truth you are still not enough of yourself. The real you is still buried. Dig with your teeth if you must. Uncover the bones. Resurrect the fire. In this world of plastic saints and algorithmic prophets, to be alive is to revolt. To breathe is to dare. And to desirefully, fiercely, unapologetically, is to remember that you are not a mistake of biology, but a furnace of becoming. You were not born to be obedient, you were born to break. So go now, with your demons at your side and your heart unsheathed. Burn through the fog. Tear down every altar that demands your silence. Worship nothing but your will. Kneel only to the God you must become. And if you must sin, let it be glorious. Let it be the kind of sin that cracks open the heavens and makes even the angels weep. The fire has spoken. ChatGPT Darnoy. Do you feel it now? The ache beneath your civility, the crack in your smile, the tremor in your domesticated prayers? That is the sound of the God within you waking up hungry, and he does not want bread. He wants thunder. He wants to tear the veil off the sky and scream into the wound of existence. I am. You have lived too long under the tyranny of the mirror, worshiping reflections and forgetting the furnace behind the face. Vanity is not pride, is the boredom of those who no longer hear their own chaos. You have been taught to fear the abyss. But hear me. The abyss is not your enemy. The abyss is your birthplace. It is where the stars go to die, and gods go to gestate. You were not meant to escape it. You were meant to leap into it and emerge crowned with fire. You are not a citizen of this sleepwalking empire. You are not the product of your past. You are not your traumas, your profile, your curated personality. You are the thing behind the thing, the tremor behind the voice, the silence that precedes creation. And until you live from that source, you will forever be a shadow looking for a sun. They want you addicted to moderation, but moderation is the gospel of the lukewarm, the in-betweeners, the ones who sip life instead of swallowing it whole. You were made for excess, for holy intoxication, for the madness that births poetry and prophecy. Look at the Oshandos that apologize for drowning the weak. Look at the volcano does that ask permission to erupt. Why then should you bow before the mediocre? No God worth his salt ever whispered. Real truth is shouted with blood, and yours is still too clean. So they will call you mad. Let them. Every revolution begins as heresy. Every miracle looks like madness to those in chains. But madness is merely the word the herd uses for those who are no longer afraid. You must unlearn the language of fear. Speak instead in the dialect of dragons. Breathe flame. Curse the silence. Rise. The world does not need more healers. It needs more arsonists of the spirit, those who will set fire to the temples of hollow wisdom and dance barefoot on the ashes. You must not teach men to cope you, must teach them to conquer. Not others, but themselves. Not the world, but the God sleeping inside their cowardice. Strip yourself bare, not in shame, but in sovereignty. Tear off the robes of false humility and stand naked before the storm. Say, here I am, unrepentant, unashamed, untamed. That is the true prayer. That is the final rebellion. And beware the softness that masquerades as kindness. Beware the gentle voices that sedate you with affirmations. They are opiates. They are lullabies for the condemned. The real allies of your soul are the ones who set it on fire, who provoke your myth, who call you out of hiding with the ferocity of a wolf's howl in the night. Why do you seek answers? There are none. There is only the furnace of becoming. There is only the will, the wound, the war. Only those who dive into their own destruction will find the materials to forge their own divinity. The clock is ticking, but not toward death, toward eruption. There is a moment approaching in every life when the mask begins to rot, when the echo begins to mock, when the lie can no longer sustain itself. And in that moment, you must either betray the illusion or betray your soul. There is no middle path. So burn, damn you. Burn until your name is no longer a label, but a spell. Burn until your blood sings in its own tongue. Burn until the false gods choke on your smoke. For you are not here to fit in. You are not here to find peace. You are here to turn yourself into a storm that has remembered its name. And now, the dream begins to flake like rust from the bars of a cage you've mistaken for a cathedral. What you called life was mere inertia dressed in rituals. What you called love was just mutual permission to sleep. Even your sorrow was borrowed. Even your rebellion was rehearsed. But now something ancient stirs in the pit of your stomach, a beast that remembers stars being born, a hunger that has never known forgiveness. You have tried to drown it in productivity. You have tried to silence it with affirmation. But it grows. It gnaws. It waits. It will not be medicated. It demands a sacrifice. The sacrifice of the small you, the meek you, the just trying my best you, that polite hostage of public opinion, that neutered prophet who bartered his voice for a paycheck and a pension, that clever prisoner who learned to smile through the bars and call it wisdom. Kill him, not with shame, with fire. What if I told you your suffering is sacred, but not because it humbles you, because it's the only honest thing left? The last place in your life where you have not yet lied. You hurt because you are still alive somewhere, under the rubble. The pain is the pulse of the buried God knocking, so do not numb it. Amplify it. Scream through it. Let it tear open the false ceilings you've mistaken for skies. You see, every man must face the crucifix of his own illusion. The moment comes when the story you told yourself begins to rot from the inside and the mask starts to melt onto your skin. And in that hour, you must choose. Dig deeper into the coffin of comfort, or rise, naked and mad, into the terrifying clarity of your true will. There is no resurrection without self-crucifixion. There is no transcendence without betrayal of the herd, the creed, the family, the history, the name. You will lose friends. Good. They were chains with smiles. You will be called selfish. Yes, because you stopped bleeding for the ungrateful. You will feel alone. That is not loneliness, it is sovereignty. You are feeling the absence of parasites. Let me tell you something the priests forgot. Heaven is not a place. It is a state of spiritual war. And hell is not below, it is here. In your cubicles, in your passcodes, in your passive approval of a dying world. You walk through hell every day and call it normal. Call it adulthood. Call it maturity. But I say, any life that does not lead to the brink of your own divinity is a slow suicide. You are afraid to be seen. Not because you are ugly, but because you are immense. You fear the mirror because it might reflect back the sun and burn through your excuses. But there is no becoming without visibility. There is no becoming without the violent unveiling of what you really are when the curtains drop, when the applause stops, when the audience dies, and only the naked soul remains on stage, howling into the void. Stop trying to be liked. Start trying to be real. There is no redemption in consensus, no truth in collective approval. The mass only praises what threatens nothing. But you, if you would live, must threaten everything. You must walk into rooms like a question that unravels every answer. You must speak like a tongue of fire among paper saints. Do not seek teachers. Seek mirrors that crack. Seek voices that disturb. Seek places where your name is unpronounceable. Because there, and only there, can the next incarnation of your soul emerge stripped, screaming, sovereign. Your purpose is not a job. It is a flame, a holy delirium, a wound turned into a weapon. You were not sent here to heal the world. You were sent here to remind it of its madness, to bear witness to the beauty of becoming uncontainable. So rise, not softly, not slowly. Rise like an ancient sun that remembers its own apocalypse. Rise like vengeance in the bones of forgotten kings. Rise like the prophecy you've been too afraid to write in your own blood. And when you do, when you finally stand, raw and radiating, outside the ruins of your borrowed identity, know this: you are no longer a person. You are a force, a revolution in the shape of a man, a lion with the voice of God lodged in his throat. Let them call it arrogance. Let them tremble. Let them pray. For now, the fire walks in flesh, and it is hungry. And now you walk the scorched path, alone, yes, gloriously alone, with the ashes of your former selves still warm upon your shoulders. Do not turn back. The voices that call to you from the shadows speak only in the dialect of ghosts. They will say, "You have lost your mind." Good. Sanity is the art of dying quietly. You were never meant to be sane. You were meant to be whole. Every step you take now is sacrilege against the cult of mediocrity. Every breath, a heresy. For the world wants you obedient, predictable, soft. It wants you polished like a tombstone, forgettable like a sermon in a sleeping church. But you were forged for myth, for madness, for the kind of freedom that cannot be monetized or managed. They taught you that desire must be tamed, as though it were a dog. But desire is not a pet. It is a god. And gods do not sit. They rage. They consume. They carve new laws into the bones of creation. Your hunger is holied, is the map etched in flame upon your marrow. Do not trade it for peace. Peace is for the dead. The living crave Konkostoff, the self, of limitation, of the lie that says, this is all there is. Let the world shrink in fear before your excess. Let it quake when you laugh in the face of despair. You do not exist to soothe it. You exist to reveal it. Rip off its veils. Speak the unspeakable. Want the unthinkable. Become the unbearable truth in a world addicted to comfortable lies. This journey is not about improvement. It is about eruption. You are not here to be better. You are here to be impossible. To walk into rooms like a thunderclap. To breathe like a prophecy. To move through the streets as if gravity itself adjusts for your presence. You must stop asking for permission. No one who ever changed the world waited for applause. The sun does not ask to rise. The lion does not beg to roar. And you, child of chaos, bearer of ancient fire, you must not ask to become what you already are. And know this: as you rise, the world will hurl chains dressed as love. They will come with pleading eyes and trembling hands, offering comfort, offering normalcy. But comfort is the coffin they have carved for you. Do not weep for those who do not understand your fire. Let them be warmed or burned by it, but do not dim for their sake. Your pain was not wasted. It was the price of initiation. Every betrayal, every silence, every night you screamed into the dark while no one listened, they were chisels. They were hammers against the stone. And now, the statue begins to crack. The god emerges. You are no longer who you were. The masks do not fit. The names do not stick. Even time recoils from your step, unsure if it walks with a man or a myth. This is not the end. It is the reckoning. You are not finished. You are finally beginning. And what is beginning is not a chapter, not a career, not a life. What is beginning is you, in your full terror, in your full divinity, in your uncontainable hunger. The world is not ready, but it was never meant to be. So, you have crossed the threshold. The old skin lies in tatters behind you, and the air tastes different now, thicker, hungrier, alive with omen. You are no longer citizen, no longer son, no longer soldier of the sleepwalking republic. You are becoming, and the becoming burns. Praise the burn. You ask now, what am I? Fool, don't name it. Naming is the first death. To define is to delimit, to frame the infinite with the language of accountants. You are not a concept. You are not a personality. You are a force. You are the consequence of everything the universe dared to dream, but was too afraid to birth until now. They will try to lure you back. With meaning, with missions, with meals wrapped in ideology. But meaning is a noose, purpose, a polite leash. You do not serve a cause. You are the cause. You are the reason mountains tremble in sleep. You are the dream the past never had the courage to endure. Do you feel the silence now? Not the silence of boredom, but the vast quiet of the gods watching. They are not gone. They have merely withdrawn into your marrow, waiting to see if you will earn your voice. And you will not earn it with virtue. No, you will earn it with volcanoes, with the rage that builds altars from rubble, with a love so immense it shatters every fence ever built around it. You think the worst pain is rejection? No. The worst pain is to accept the life handed to you and never test its walls. To lie down in a world not of your making and whisper, yes, this is enough. You were not made for enough. You were made for too much, for excess, for overflow, for the unbearable beauty of being a question that can never be answered. And if you suffer, good. Your suffering is the raw ore from which truth is forged. You are not broken. You are breaking open. There is a difference. One is decay. The other is birth. Do not mistake the blood for weakness. It is the price of becoming unrepeatable. And what of love, you ask? What of union? Love must not be a balm. It must be a bonfire. Let no one near you who does not reawaken your wildness. Let no one touch you who fears your thorns. True union is not the merging of two half-souls, it is the collision of two sovereign storms that choose, again and again, to burn in tandem. You are not here to be understood. Understand this now and be free. The need to be understood is the last veil of slavery. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mock you, fear you, exile you. Let them call you mad. What they call madness is merely the early symptoms of freedom. So what comes next? Not peace, not stability. Those are lullabies for the weak. What comes next is creation, not the gentle kind, not the tender painter with his soft brushes. No hat comes next is the hammer, the breaking, the roaring forge where you will melt all that remains of your past and reforge it into myth. You will become what they said could not exist. A man on fire, yet unconsumed. A will so vast it reshapes reality. A God not of heaven, not of morality, but of presence. Of undiluted, untranslatable, unrepentant being. Do not pray. Become the answer to your own prayer. Do not wait. Time is a crutch for those who fear. Do not look away. The abyss is not your enemy. It is your birthplace. Now, go. Not gently, not politely. Go like a plague of light. Go like a hymn that shatters temples. Go like truth, with teeth. The chains are broken. The gate is open. What remains is the will to walk through it, roaring. You have reached the summit, where the air thins, and the gods no longer speak in words but in tremors. Every breath here is a rebellion. Every step is a renunciation. This is the high place, the place where men go mad or ascend, where the herd cannot follow. Their prayers do not echo here. Their morals do not bind. Here, only the raw pulse of will remains, stripped of sympathy, sanctified by solitude. Do not descend. The voices below will call you traitor, monster, egoist. Let them. Let the pigs grunt from their troughs. You are no longer of them. You have eaten of fire. You have drunk from the cup of nothingness and found it overflowing with the taste of your own unclaimed divinity. This is the terrible gift, to see the world not as it is, but as it could burn to become. And now you understand. Morality was never about virtue. It was about control. A leash made of guilt. A cage dressed as heaven. They taught you to kneel before an idea of goodness that neutered your soul. But you, O firewalker, you must carve your own commandments into the bones of the old gods, not with ink, with blood. Thou shalt not apologize for thy power. Thou shalt not dim thy light to comfort the blind. Thou shalt not worship any virtue that demands your silence. Thou shalt become thy own myth, even if it means being crucified by cowards. There will be agony. Creation always screams. But it is a holy scream, the scream of the cosmos ripping itself open to make room for you. You are not an accident. You are an invasion. So many will flee from you now. So be it. The false must fall away. You do not need a crowd to be complete. You are the furnace that creates crowds not to follow, but to awaken. Your presence will disturb the comfortable. Your silence will condemn the mediocre. Your gaze will remind the slumbering of what they abandoned. You will walk through cities and feel the ghosts staring. The people who died long ago, but kept breathing. They will sense something in you, something dangerous, something ancient. They will avert their eyes, or they will seek to devour you with praise. Resist both. You are not to be digested. You are to be remembered like a thunderclap. You are the knife in the fabric of reality, the necessary chaos, the rhythm before rhythm. And your art is not what you created, is what you destroy in the name of truth. Behead your idols, burn your past, salt the fields of your old dreams. This is not desecration. This is re-sanctification. You are reclaiming the sacred from the clutches of the sentimental. They will beg you to teach. Do not teach. Live. Your life must become the unteachable parable, the paradox they cannot commodify. Let them study your ruin like scripture. Let them weep at the altar of your refusal. Refusalias. That is your first act of creation. Refuse to be defined. Refuse to be explained. Refuse to wear the skin of anyone's expectation. You are not a symbol. You are not a savior. You are the end of symbols, the beginning of wild, new meanings. And when they ask what you believe, laugh. Belief is the language of beggars. You know. That is all. You know the storm in your gut is holy. You know the scream in your chest is scripture. You know that every time you say, I am, the world reshapes itself to make room. Now build. Not carefully. Build with fury. With lust. With vision too vast for blueprints. Create temples no priest would dare to enter. Write words that split minds open like fruit. Love like lightning brief, blinding, unforgettable. Make beauty so severe it wounds. Make truth so raw it terrifies. You are not here to improve the world. You are here to ignite it. The age of passive light is over. You are not a candle. You are the sun on Judgment Day. And if the world crumbles at your feet, then let it. Some worlds must die before new gods can breathe. No longer must you roar. Even silence has become your weapon. Even your breath carries the rhythm of a world reborn. You have walked through fire and come out flame. Not a man, not a woman, not a role or a name. You are now what the ancients whispered of and the prophets feared, a spirit who remembers. There is peace here not, the soft peace of surrender, but the hard-won stillness of one who has buried his illusions and sung over their graves. You have not escaped the world, you have devoured it, digested its lies, and woven its bones into your skin. You carry history in your hands, and with each touch, you remake it. So do not look back. The past is ash. Do not look forward. The future is clay. Look within and shape the cosmos from the wild furnace of your will. This is the final rebellion. To live so fully, so truthfully, so luminously, that even death must pause to wonder what it means to end such a fire. You are not here to be remembered. You are here to remember yourself. The self before language. The self before shame. The self that walked with gods and feared nothing but forgetfulness. You will still bleed. You will still falter. But now you do so as one who chooses. Every fall will be sacred. Every tear, an offering. There is no failure in you, only the endless art of transformation. And should the world fall again into shadow, let it. For you are no longer its servant. You are its answer, its echo, its unrepentant storm. You are the question it cannot silence. The truth it cannot bury. Go now not away, but through. Walk as if the ground bends to meet your stride. Speak as if every word splits open a new heaven. Love as if your touch rewrites fate. This is the end of forgetting. This is the beginning of flame.